Bam! Good morning, Miss G. How are you?
Good. How are you? Good morning.
Welcome to my office hours at 6:30 a.m.
And what time?
7 days a week. How are you?
I'm okay. What time did you call me to be on the show? Tell everyone what time you called me to be on the show.
6:30.
You called me at 6:05.
6:05. I was reminding you.
At six? No. There is no reminding it.
We sent out the memo yesterday. You didn't check your email.
No memo. I'm sure Grace is laughing right now. There's no memo. No memo yesterday.
I don't see Grace on the feed. Is she on the feed this morning?
Yeah. Oh. Oh my God, no. She's not.
No,
You're right.
it's too early for Grace.
Oh my Lord, and it's not too early for GT. So what is this madness at 6:30 in the morning?
Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be trying to talk about a lot of things about CPS in the news, and I'm going to give some information out. I'm going to start posting as well handouts, different articles that I've written and different research that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
There's an announcement that I made yesterday, and I want to tell you again, or tell you because you didn't hear it and you probably didn't see the show from yesterday. Two announcements. I'm starting a magazine, a monthly magazine that's going to focus on parents. One of the things that I notice in the news is I see a lot of stories about CPS, but they're focused on injuries to children. And I get it, people like to hear stories about children, victims, and animals. And a lot of the stories that are coming up are about children. For example, one of the stories I talked about the other day was there has been legislation introduced by a senator from Georgia that will give incentives to states who make their social workers wear body cameras during interviews. And it's federal legislation. And my first question was, well, they're saying body camera interviews of children and parents. And they kind of say the parents kind of low. Well, maybe we won't include parents in that. But they really want the body camera tapes of the children and maybe of the parents too. And I think it should be of everyone. But technology today is so cheap that, like the police, social worker can wear a body camera and tape everything. Because I can give you so many examples where people have told me, and children have later confirmed when they became adults, that what the social worker reported or testified to is not what the person said. And, we can speculate as to all of the reasons why that happens. But, there are two things that will drastically improve CPS, fairness of CPS court cases, and that's body cameras and jury trials. That's number one. So this senator, U.S. senator, has introduced legislation. Now, I was reading the article.
Which senator did you say it was?
I think his name is Ossoff from Georgia. He's a Democrat from Georgia, and it's bipartisan legislation. And he introduced the same legislation, I think, last year, and it didn't go anywhere. So he's introduced it again. Now, the interesting thing is, I don't know if you know this, but in January of 2025, Donald Trump issued an executive order, or noticed an executive order, that he was going to cut funding for social services, and it was going to effectively do away with foster care. It was going to effectively do away with funding for CPS, and there was such an outcry that they delayed it. You know how he cut the Department of Education, like it was there one day and the next day it was gone. Well, he was going to do that with a lot of social service funding. It was, I think, almost $400 billion. $400 billion, and he was just going to cut it out.
I know. That's why they didn't want him in office again.
One day you were going to have CPS and foster care, and the next day you weren't going to have it. Wouldn't that be interesting? But there was such an outcry, and people threatened lawsuits that he tabled it. He put it on hold. But it's still there, and it's still a possibility that this may happen.
It's being investigated right now. CPS think they're off the hook. No, they're not.
I don't think they are. I think that $400 billion, he's looking to cut it. During his first term, there was a lot of discussion about him reforming CPS. A lot of people. There was that attorney from Tennessee who was doing a lot of legislating and door knocking about reforming CPS, especially in her state. Connie Riguli, I think was her name, and she was very politically active. And she was hoping that Trump would do something during the first term. He didn't get around to it for whatever reason. But it looks
with the reason that they distracted him. They don't want him like right now with Deutsch. You think that they're not going to find out about CPS? CPS is embezzling. They're literally selling children for cash. Literally selling children for cash.
But I think that he's going to do something regarding the funding, and it's one of those things like if you defund an organization, that kind of gets rid of the organization. I'm sure there are arguments both ways. That's a good thing. That's a bad thing. But it's something that they're going to have to consider. But anyway, getting back to the body cameras. So body cameras, I think they're necessary. They're because so many people tell me I didn't say that, or I said something close to that, but not exactly that, or I was misquoted. And typically in a lot of cases, these things aren't challenged in court. I spoke to a lady the other day, and this is what happened. She had a trial, and she said at the trial, her court-appointed supervisor, who she had never met before, came to the court and did the trial. And this wasn't in LA, it was in another county. And I said, well, what witnesses and exhibits did you guys put on in evidence? She said, none. I said, well, that wasn't a trial. She said, oh, yeah, my attorney argued for me. I said, well, if you didn't put on any evidence, argument is not considered evidence. And you lose. By definition, you lose. And she said, well, the judge listened to the argument. I said, yeah, but the judge listened to the argument out of courtesy to the attorney, because the attorney has the right to argue. But if the attorney didn't put forth any evidence, you're going to lose. And she said, well, why didn't my attorney put forth any evidence? I gave him witnesses. I gave him documents to put on. And I said, I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know if it was a strategic play. I don't know if it was, a negligence by the attorney. I just don't know. And she said, well, are you telling me I didn't have any chance to win? I said, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. If you don't put on evidence of a defense, you don't have a chance. So let's get back to it. Body cams. So I think that you should have body cams. And, of course, be able to have the jury trials. The jury trials are going to be expensive for the states and the counties, but body cams not going to be expensive. And I think that's something that could be easily implemented. By the way, Ms. G, if people post any questions in the comments, can you see the comments?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, if anybody posts any questions that you want me to answer, make note of it, okay?
Yeah, I am actually making note of cruel. Never mind. I can't pronounce these names anymore.
Okay, hold on a second.
Well, she didn't post a question. She just nurse harassed me during labor. Alleges neglect. Yeah, that's another thing too with all these alleges crap. It's I don't allege, and then they psycho, tell parents they're psycho, and they diagnose parents, and they have no right to diagnose parents. It's crazy to me.
There was a case about that. The attorney from San Diego, McMillan, brought a civil rights case against
Sean
LA,
McMillan. Yeah.
against social workers in LA, because they had diagnosed a lady with Munchausen by syndrome proxy, and the social workers didn't have that ability. They weren't doctors. They weren't qualified to pin her with that diagnosis. I think she ended up winning $6 million, something like that.
She deserves way more than that, but that's neither here or there. She got something.
Yeah. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about, catch you up on that. So, we were talking about the magazine. So we're going to start a monthly magazine dedicated to injuries to parents. I was talking about an article that appeared in a magazine or in a newspaper about how investigations even and how the CPS process wreaks havoc on families and on parents, and how CPS in a lot of states just barge into your home without a warrant and inspect your home, search your home, take your child. Yesterday you text me what you thought, or what the client thought was a warrant.
Yes, a court order. No, I said a court order.
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be a warrant. And
Mm-hmm.
you said that they showed this piece of paper to the parent and then took the baby. And I said, well, this is not a warrant. It's not a court order. And I told you why. And I said, all it is a notice to attend a hearing. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if that's all they had, and that particular county has gotten in trouble for doing this, and that is taking children without a warrant or a court order, and they've been sued, that person and the child have civil rights lawsuits just for that against that county. I don't want to say the county, but they have civil rights lawsuits against the county and those social workers. You cannot take a child without a court order or a warrant, or something called exigent circumstances, emergency circumstances. And that's something that's defined in the law. That's something that the social worker has to see or do, see that there is some type of emergency. You can't just show up and say, well, I think the kid's in danger. We got to have some proof of that. So, and 9 times out of 10, they got to have that court order. But this particular county doesn't get that type of court order. They just show up and say, hey, we're taking your kid. They show up with the police, by the way. And they say, hey, we're taking your kid, and, show up at court 2 days from now.
Mm-hmm.
That, my friends, is a violation of your and your child's civil rights, period, end of story.
Right, but the paper that she gave her, she came with the police, by the way. The social worker came with the police, and it was the supervisor of the Department of Children and Family Services in Riverside. Okay, she came with 2 sheriff officers to remove a baby. A baby. That baby had no drugs in the system. I just want you guys to know a little bit of the story. No drugs in the system. Baby is healthy. Baby is fine. Mom is great. I've known the mother now since February 2024 or 2023, rather 2023. She got her kids back previously, and then they came back and removed the kids. Okay, because the allegations were not even from anything that she's done. It was from her ex or her ex's family or what have you. But you guys need to understand something. You can't think that they're not going to come back for your kids, even if you have them temporarily. Just remember that. If you have them temporarily, they're still going to come back for your kids. They're still going to watch you every move, for God's sakes. They're going to watch your every move. Just remember that, okay? Guys got to lawyer up. These people are heinous. They're crazy. And I want to just say something for Big Fruit Blocks' fan. my President Trump will do something this time. You'll see. The first time, they just did a lot of stuff to block him. But this time, he comes with a mission, okay? To stop all these people from what they are doing. I mean, to stop all the corruption in America. And I'm being honest with you, okay? So just keep that in mind.
We shall see. But let's get back to what we were talking about. So I was telling you about the magazine. It's going to be published once a month, maybe twice a month. I think it's going to lead to its own show, but it's going to be focused on injuries to parents, emotional, physical injuries to parents, by going through this CPS grinder. Okay. I know we focus a lot, or the news focuses a lot on the grinder that children are put through, but I want to focus on the parents, the grinder that they're put through. And we're going to feature 1 or 2 stories per month in the magazine, and I hope that we'll have several contributors. Hope you'll be one of the contributors to the magazine as well, Miss G, and we'll try to publish that every month starting May 2025. The second announcement that I made yesterday, Miss G, is that I'm bringing back CPS, the horror stories. And I gave a little, I saw that eyebrow raise, Miss G.
That's every time you speak something. I knew it's something.
You know, I gave a little history of CPS, the horror stories, and it predates you working with me. And I want to tell you the history. Do you know who the first host of CPS, the horror stories was?
No.
It was me. I was the first host of that show. Do you know who the second host was?
Cynthia Becker?
No. The second host of the show, and I spoke to her not too long ago, was a woman named Leslie Clark.
Oh my God. Who is
Yeah.
that?
Exactly. She predates you. Leslie was the host for the show a very long time. And she predates Grace. And I was asking someone that used to work with us where I could find all those old shows. And they told me, and I'm going to try to pull out the old shows. But yeah, Leslie was the second host. Then there was a third host. And then the fourth host of the show was Cynthia. But anyway, one of the things I noticed from the show, because I wanted to run it daily, and I think we only ran it like 5 days a week. One of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to run it daily, but here was one of the weaknesses in the show, and that was burnout. Hearing these stories every day takes a toll on the host. It's almost like PTSD.
Really? Did you come up with that, or somebody told you that?
No, I just noticed it by looking at the shows and listening to them.
Wait. How do you think it feels like hearing that 100 times a day from actual parents crying out to you?
I get it. I get it. And so my suggestion is, bringing back the show, is I would like to have at least 7 hosts, and that every day of the week, someone different does the hosting of that show. So you would only have to do the show 1 time per week, not 7 times per week.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm just talking to people, because what I ask for people to volunteer to take 1 day a week to do that show. And I gave everyone Grace's email address to be a host.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I would offer you a day if you wanted to do it. I would offer Stacy a day, and so Bob a day, and people just.
Me and Stacy would love to do it. We'd love to do it.
And I would, I ask people in the audience that see the show live or see the show on tape, to go ahead and send Grace at vincentwdavis.com, our producer, an email saying that they would like to volunteer to do, a 1-hour show just once a week, and be the host of a forum to allow people to share their story, so that other people will know that they aren't by themselves going through this by themselves. It's not you, it's the system. It's the way
Right.
people are treated here in California. They're treated the same in New York. They're treated
And
the
they're in New York.
same in Wyoming. They're treated the same in Georgia, the same in Florida, same in Nevada, same in Arizona. You get it? It's happening all over this country. You know, I get calls from people in Hawaii, people in Alaska.
What
I
about
get
United Kingdom
I
yesterday?
get people in the United Kingdom.
Hmm.
I get calls from people in Canada. You know, Canada has a CPS system.
Canada is a democratic country, dude. That's crazy.
So um, you know, but your president wants to take over Canada. Did you hear that?
I love my president. God bless Mr. Trump. I mean, I love that man. I really do. At least he got everything. Everything he said he was gonna do, he's getting it done. So
So
at least he's not a liar.
so I I want to have that forum. I want to have that forum for people to come on and share their story. You know, and I don't want them, of course, to mention names. I don't want them to, mention their children's names. I don't want them to mention lawyers' names. I don't want them to mention judges' names. I don't want them to mention attorneys' names. Okay.
Okay, but you
Um,
know what? I would love that to happen. But sometimes people's schedule don't work out. So that's why we need, I guess, 7 people to be able to do,
yeah.
1 hour a day.
Yeah.
Whichever day you want, as long as it's not at the same time as the other person. Just keep that in mind, okay?
What do you mean?
At the same time as somebody else doing the show. Like if somebody's doing it at 1 o'clock, somebody else cannot do it at 1 o'clock, right?
I don't follow you. I was going to have it the same time every day, but different people doing it every day.
Oh, different people doing it every day. Got it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. I thought it was okay. I
Like,
misunderstood.
for example, if you did it, you do it, you pick a day, say you did Mondays, you do Mondays at whatever time. But you wouldn't do it any other day that week. You would just do it for 1 hour on Mondays. Get it? And
Yeah,
then
I get it.
somebody different would do it Tuesday. Somebody different would do it Wednesday. Okay. So if any of you watching, or if any of you watching, watching this taped, please email Grace if you'd like to volunteer and be a host. By the way, I wanted to tell you something, and this probably is true for most of the shows. I was looking at the stats of the show, this show yesterday, and many people watch the show after 6:30. They watch it in a taped format. So,
But it's good to have the interaction. I don't know. When I used to do the shows, I love interacting with people. Sometimes my shows used to go 2 hours, I think. Yeah. I know Jamie Lee I still love her so much. Yeah, Jamie Lee would tell you. Sometimes it will go 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on the crowd. But you know what? That's a good idea. But when are we going to do the show based on your book? Remember I told you that? But you never really stuck to it because you have a lot of court hearings last couple of months.
all you have to do is you have to schedule it with Grace. I'll do it.
I did. You had a trial. We couldn't do anything. There's nothing. Your schedule was busy, like all of last year and half of this year.
I don't know if I told you this, but I'm in the process. I'm about halfway through with it of rewriting my book.
You told me that. Why are you
Okay.
going to rewrite it? I don't
Because
understand you.
I'm adding to it. I'm updating it. It's going to probably double in size. I don't know
Okay, that's good. More
I don't know if that's a
information.
good thing or bad thing, but yeah.
That's a great thing because a lot of people want more information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I needed, remember I asked you if we can have a show, me and you, discussing my chapter from your book.
What chapter?
I mean, like pages. Like I can't think. Where is the book? Like, how your book, right? Your book.
Mhm.
I can't. Damn
Because
screen. I
because
can't see it.
you're using a
Right, a background.
yeah, so you can't see the book.
Right. Okay, so you know how the book has, for example, the juvenile dependency court system, the social workers initial investigation, first court hearing, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people have the book. They have access to the book because I make sure they have it.
Mhm.
However, when you're in the midst of trials and tribulations from CPS, because I always say CPS is a demonic entity. Okay, been saying that for years, but sometimes they can't just sit down and read it, right? So they want to hear it. They want to be able to hear it. So
I have the audio version. Did you know that? There's an audio version of the book.
How would I know that? Do you think if I
I
knew
I
that I
gave
would
I
discuss
gave it
this
to
with
you.
you right now?
I gave it to you years ago.
You know what
I
this
actually
means in Italian?
I
Do you know
I
what this means? Do
I
you know?
actually I paid a professional voice actor like $500 or $600 years ago to make an audiobook for me. And he gave it to me. I'll have to find it. But I gave it to you. I gave it to Yoli years ago.
No, sweetie. No. Vincent W. Davis. Okay. Vincent Walter Davis. You never gave it to us. Never. I would
Well,
have used it.
it exists.
It exists in your head, but not in reality. I don't have it. That would be great if I can use that. That would be great because a lot of people want to just listen to it rather than sit down and dedicate themselves to read a book. I'm being honest with you.
No, I understand. Some people are what do they call them? Auditory learners.
Yes.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
people are visual learners. Some people are auditory. You have five senses, and a lot of people are different types of learners. I do well with video. Other people do well with reading. Other people do well with audio.
I love audio. I learn well with audio.
Really?
I should not have said anything. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I did not say
Um,
anything. Grace, you're gonna might not want to cut this part out so Vincent doesn't revisit, or I don't want him to revisit that. It's like every
that
time I say
explains a
something,
lot. That
you
explains a
just
lot.
focus on me. Now, you know what? Be quiet. Be quiet. It's certain things that I would learn by listening. Actually, I'm a good listener. Doesn't that tell you something?
That was a good one. That was a good one.
You know, I listen to your bull crap every day for over 11 years. Honestly, give me some credit.
Oh, here's a comment I like. You like that one, Miss G?
Attorney Vincent smile and life is so precious. Oh, I know who you are.
You know who that person is?
It's one of our clients.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm.
All right.
And together we break productions. Miss her so much. And then she
Did you
said, I'd
see?
love to see you both smile.
I'm trying to
And
limit.
Jamie, I miss you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I didn't get a chance to get to the topic that I was going to speak about today, and that was CPS investigations. But I'm trying to keep the show limited to 30 minutes so that
It's
we
okay,
don't.
but today is a special show, so you can go ahead and talk about it.
No, I'm limiting the show to 30 minutes.
I know, but today you can make an exception.
I'm the host. You're the guest.
I don't matter. You freaking called me at 6:05 to do the show with you today. For God's sakes, man. Seriously.
Do you have any? Did you see any questions in the comments that you want me to answer?
Yes, there is. Well, I don't know if it's a question per se, but
Go ahead. Sure. I'll answer a few questions for you.
Hold on. It's not for me. It's for a mother. Hold on. She said I was not. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Oy, 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 oy. Good morning, Attorney Davis. Here she is. Okay. So that's what she wrote. Can you see it, Vincent?
Hold on.
Why did you do that? Can she call in, Vincent?
If we had Grace, she could. I know on Bob's show they let them call in. I don't know how they do that.
They just call my cell number. I mean, they call the number and then I put them on speaker. That's how they do it.
Well, go ahead, do it.
You guys can call my work number. I'm not gonna put my cell out there. 626-631-8901.
Rachel, she's giving you a number to call in.
Oh, it would help if I go to the kitchen and get my phone. 1 second, please.
As we take a break in the action while Miss G goes and gets her phone, although she typed her number on one of the Facebook pages, she didn't type it on all of the pages. So I will type it on 626-631-8901. So for those of you on YouTube, if you call that number, you will be able to speak to Miss G, and Miss G can put you on the line with us. Okay, I posted your number on all the pages, Miss G.
Okay, got it. Right here.
Okay. I know Rachel said she wanted to call in. So
that's Rachel.
You got her?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm down in Florida, and I got a call. My son lives in New York, and him and his wife got arrested on March 26th with drugs in the car. And there's the babies. There was drugs in the car seat. One bag of drugs in the car seat, and the two kids there was two other kids sitting next to the baby. They got arrested, and CPS of course was involved. No problem. They got the kids. The kids were taken to an entrusted adult. And right now, as it stands today, the mother, my daughter-in-law, is allowed to be with the kids and the entrusted adult, and CPS has been doing their investigation. They've told her that they've gone back and forth. She's meeting with them today, and they want her to do a safety plan. Now, she hasn't failed any drug tests or anything like that. I'm going to be going up there pretty much in the next day or so from Florida, and literally just going to relocate up there because my son's not going to get out of prison on this one, and they need support. So I'm going up there. I just wanted to find out if she's supposed to go in today to agree to support. They want her to do a safety plan, which we all know how that generally goes. However, with there being charges on her, they haven't indicted her yet, but she got the same charges he did, and which includes like 3 for child endangerment. Should she sign the safety plan, or should she, say, hey, I'll get a court order on this? Like, which is the better way to go to protect everything? Protect her, like, because they don't have anything on her other than they both got arrested on that, and then she says that she didn't know about the drugs. Regardless if she did or not, her stance is she didn't know anything about the drugs. So.
Well, if they were in California, it would depend on a lot of different factors. If she signs the safety plan, are they going to give her the kid back? If she signs the safety plan, are they?
They told her, they said if she signs the safety plan, this is what they told her verbally. They said if she signs the safety plan, they'll let her have unsupervised with the kids. Now, it's not in writing yet. This is just them talking. And then they said that if she doesn't sign it, then there's going
Okay, if she signs the safety plan, they're going to give her unmonitored visits. That's not giving her custody back.
I know. Yeah.
Where is the child? Where are the kids right now?
With her godmother.
Does she get along? Does she get?
Care for the kids long term. She's not going to be able to care for the kids long term.
Does she get along with the godmother?
Yeah. The way New York works, so they let the parents choose who the children go and stay with, and then the CPS just vets them, and then they're allowed to stay with them. So they clear this person, but we know this person can't keep them long term, but this becomes a thing. And if she gets indicted and goes in on whatever the case is, so it sounds like they're holding off on charging her like officially, depending on what happens if she agrees to safety plan or not. But I'm not sure.
Well, it's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult to say because I don't know New York law. But if I were in California and this happened, I'd probably tell her to only sign the safety plan if she was given the child back.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. That's what we were thinking too. And she was brought up. This girl was brought up in dealing with CPS her whole life, and so her mom was going through it, or her cousin was going through it. So she's trying to break the cycle of the whole thing. Obviously not the greatest way, but she knows them well enough. Like she's smart enough to go in there and say, I want to have a say so in what happened. And so her plan at this point is to go in there today and say, well, let me back up. So yesterday I talked to the caseworker myself, Anna, and she's the one that got me in touch with Lacey because Lacey's number had the daughter line changed. And so the thing was though is that Anna went and lied to Lacey and said that I had made additional allegations that they have to investigate. So that's where I'm hesitant to trust them at all. Which I'm already hesitant to trust them at all. But the fact that the caseworker went and tried to cause problems between me and my daughter-in-law, it's like I told him I haven't talked to them at all in like months because the last time I spoke anything to you guys, they trusted you guys and they lost me. So it's like, in a way, I feel like they're trying to separate family. You know what I mean? Like it's just, she lied to Lacey yesterday, so I don't know how to trust her at all with anything. Tough one, huh?
But okay, I heard that. But what? I mean, is there a question? I mean, you're kind of telling me a story, but is there?
Should she do the safety? I mean, the question is, should she do the safety plan or should she demand that they wait and make them get a court order? Because they don't have anything on her other than like he's the one being charged with the drugs. There was no drugs in her system, nothing wrong with the kids. I'm not saying it's not a wrong situation. I'm just saying that's just. I feel like if they were going to take the kids from her, they would have already done so.
Oh my God. They will take the kids from her. They're just trying to set her up more or try to find a home that will take these kids. You guys have to understand they make money from all this. Imagine if there's no kids removed or stolen from parents. Social workers and these state judges will not have a job.
As I said earlier, Rachel, as I told you earlier.
Listen to Vincent, Rachel. Hold on.
Rachel, as I told you earlier, I'm not licensed in New York, but if the case were in California, I'm not sure that I would sign it unless they were going to give me the kid back. However, I do know one of the best CPS lawyers in New York, and his name is Miss G.
Michael.
Michael what?
I don't know how this is. He's Italian.
If you say his name and his number, maybe Rachel can give him a call and ask for a consultation.
Okay, hold on. I don't know if I should give. I think he would want me. I don't know. I have his cell number.
Don't give his cell number. Give his office number.
I don't have his office number. Michael and I never talk on his office phone. It's always
Well,
text messages.
give his full name, and she
Last
can.
name is okay. His first name is Mike. Shh. His first name is Michael. Last name is Discioarro. He's a feisty attorney, though. You better like just answer his questions because he doesn't. I love Michael, but he's straight shooter. Just answer his questions.
Hey, Rachel.
Oh, and Michael doesn't take old cases. Hello. I forgot to tell you guys, Michael does not take any old CPS cases. Michael only takes investigative cases. Many times in writing. He only takes cases who are in the beginning of the investigation. He doesn't take any cases old. Okay? He refuses.
Hey, Rachel. Hey, Rachel.
Rachel, Davis is trying to tell you something.
Rachel, when you talk to him, I would advise you to not interrupt him and be concise in your story. He is kind of a no bullshit kind of guy, and he doesn't like clients are kind of, out there.
Mm-hmm.
So be kind of humble with him, okay?
I don't think any attorney wants that.
Yes, sir.
Clients that's really out there, because that's just, you become a liability to the attorney, and the attorneys want to win. When you become a liability, they don't. Not a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, Rachel, thank you very much for calling in.
all right. Bye, Rachel. Bye, baby. You're welcome, baby. So there's this young lady. She's been really trying to get your attention.
Who?
Affirming decision from 366.26 for TPR, termination of parental rights. Hearing, I heard she said, my dad's stepmom didn't have any conversations with me about adoption. I found out through social worker. So basically, her step mom and her dad wants to adopt the children or the child.
Okay, what's the question?
I don't know. She hasn't really gone to the question yet. I guess she just wants to say her story. That's pretty much it. And Ohio, Summit County appeal, adoption due to process violated. There was an insufficient evidence how to find out adoption process and stages in your case. Okay, that's a question.
Well, if she wants to find out the stage of the case, if she can, because sometimes after your rights are terminated, you can't find out anything else about the case. They become confidential, even against you. But if you have a chance, you have to go to the clerk's office and ask to review the file or get copies of the minute orders to find out where your case is and what the stage it's at.
I had a mother yesterday that told me that her court-appointed attorney told her she cannot have her court documents, meaning she cannot have, she cannot request anything from the social workers, paperwork or anything like that. Is that true, Attorney Davis? I forgot to ask you that question yesterday. Her court-appointed attorney told her that in writing, by the way. You spoke to her, me and you, yesterday.
Well, it depends on what stage of the case is, and theoretically,
She told you she still has. Okay, go ahead.
No, see, this is the same thing again. How many people did I talk to yesterday?
I can't say her name, but she's.
No. How many people did I talk to yesterday?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. A lot. And you think I know who you're talking about?
Okay, Felicia. Okay. So, can you please tell me?
I was trying to.
Go ahead. You're the one who just kept going on about something irrelevant, really.
All right. If her rights aren't terminated She can get a copy of her file from her attorney. In some counties, she can get a file from the social worker, but I wouldn't ask the social worker. What I would do is I would take my government-issued ID and I would go down to the courthouse, to the clerk's office, and ask for a copy of my file. What the clerk is likely to do is tell you, number one, go talk to your attorney, which I would say, no, let me talk to a supervisor. I have a right to get a copy of my file. Some clerks I've heard tell people, go ask your social worker. And I would say, no, let me talk to a supervisor. I have a right to get a copy of my file. Sometimes they will say, well, you have to come back in a few days if we have to make a copy of your file, and say, okay, I'll be back in 2 or 3 days, but I have the right to have a copy of my file. Sometimes they say, well, we're going to charge you 57 cents a page, at which to you say, I would like to fill out a fee waiver because I can't afford 57 cents a page. And most courts in most states and most counties have fee waivers, so you don't have to pay for it. Okay? So if your rights haven't been terminated, you have a right to have a copy of your file. And even if your rights have been terminated, you have a right to have your file up till the date that your rights were terminated. So say, for example, your rights are terminated today, you can go into court next month and get everything from today backwards. Okay, you can't get from today forwards because your rights were terminated. Get it?
I get it.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what that is. That's, I believe, Spanish. I don't know what it's saying.
It says, I need an attorney of, I don't know what, de salado. Whatever she is saying is, I need an attorney. Yo necesito un abogado.
No crap. You can understand a little bit of Spanish?
I took Spanish for 3 years, my dear.
Oh, wow.
Actually more, 5. 3 in high school, 2 in college. It says, I need an attorney of, and I don't know what.
Oh, our client said eviction lawyer. She's Spanish. She knows how to read Spanish. Yeah. Eviction.
Okay. I don't see any other questions, Miss G. Did you have any other questions you'd like me to answer for you?
Yeah. Why did you wake me up at 6:05 to be on the show today?
Because I didn't want to hear your mouth complaining that I never invited you on the show.
Oh, I don't care. Really, I don't care.
You asked me, I gave you the answer.
You think I care? Oh my God. You're so sweet. I really don't care. Okay, that was my strategy. So when I say I want to, it really means I don't want to. Can understand. With you, I have to say the opposite so you can do it. Now the truth comes out.
Brandy Lee says, I've waited on a Zoom 3 times. How can I get my free consultation? Brandy, I want you to call my office right now. You see that number, 888-888-6582. Call right now and tell them that you were just on a live show with me, and that they're going to give you my mobile number. You text my mobile number, and I will call you right now this morning. Okay? Brandy, please tell me that you heard what I said.
I'm sure she heard you. And also there was a paid consultation here. She said, here it is. But still have not gotten connected. I've talked to Bob Pace a few times. I think I have a good case against CPS and school system.
Okay, Brandy Leah says, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Brandy, if If they don't help you, because right now, if you call, it's the night crew, the overnight crew. We gave you Miss G's telephone number, her work number. If you call Miss G's telephone number, she'll also set it up for you. What's your number again, Miss G? Oh, it's 626-631-8901. There it is up on the screen. 626-631-8901. So
And
that's another number you can call, and Miss G will answer, and she'll set up the appointment for you, or she'll get you in touch with me.
don't no, because it's not true. Because when they call me, I'm on the phone constantly. Don't say I'm going to answer when I'm not going to answer. Okay, so if I'm on the phone, I can't answer the call, obviously. So the best thing to do, if I don't answer the call and I'm on the phone, this is my email address. Please email me, gat@vincentwdavis.com, because I don't want to miss anything. And so please email me here. Just give it a minute. It's posting. How come it's posting only in one place?
Because you're only putting it in one place. I just posted it everywhere.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So this is my email address for work. This email address, if you guys don't find me, okay, and I'm on the phone, sometimes I'm on the call for 30 or 40 minutes, depending on the intensity of the conversation. How intense the conversation might be. So sometimes I also have to do agreements. Sometimes I have to take information for an agreement. So it takes a little longer than normal, right? Than expected. So what I need you to do is email me your full name, your cell number, and a short story of your case and what county and state your case is being held. Okay. I always get back to you guys. But if I do get back to you guys and say, for example, it goes straight to voicemail, or the call drops for no reason. It doesn't even ring. And there is no way I can get a hold of you guys. So if I do text you, oftentimes I will text you from my cell, because my work phone number doesn't accept outside text. You send text messages outside. Hold on. I know your heart, Miss G. Oh, thank you so much, baby girl. So basically, I can't send you just a text message from my work phone, so I have to use my cell number, okay? But oftentimes I will do, if I can't get a hold of you and I see your email, I will text you from my cell, telling you who I am, et cetera, okay? And if you guys don't call me back right away, there's nothing I can do. Oftentimes, you guys wait a week, a month, 3 weeks to call me back. By that time, your case has already gotten worse. It gets worse by the minute. And Davis is here, and he will confirm what I'm saying to you is right. Go ahead, Davis.
A lot of people think that these CPS cases are like regular civil cases or sometimes criminal cases, and short delays or delays are routinely granted, and it won't mean anything in the case. CPS cases are not like that. They are designed to move quickly and fast. And if you blink, things will happen on your case, and they will probably happen against you. And you'll be scratching your head thinking, well, what was wrong? Why did they do that? The other day, I had a case where the woman's trial was the next day, and she said, I want you to come in and do my trial. And I said, well, I can't do it because, I don't have enough time to prepare. Your trial is tomorrow. She said, oh, you can just come in and, ask for a continuance. And I said, well, this judge isn't going to give a continuance because the law in CPS cases is you don't give continuances. And she says, oh, yeah, they'll give you a continuance. And I said, okay, watch and see what happens. So I appeared, and the judge said, I'm not giving you a continuance unless you are ready to go right now. So I told the judge, well, obviously I can't go right now. I don't even have the file. She says, well, you can't sub into the case. So I went outside with the client and I said, well, I told you this judge is not going to go forward with the continuance. She's not letting me sub in, and you're stuck with your court-appointed attorney. She couldn't believe it. I said, I told you what the law is in these CPS cases.
That's true.
Okay.
And also, Brandy did call receptionist. Brandy, ask for Joni. Call back. Ask for Joni.
Joni doesn't start working until 8 a.m. It's 7:30.
But
That's
you
why I
had
said,
working at 6:30 in the morning.
what?
Replay that part again. I'm not gonna repeat it.
Brandy, if you call at 8 a.m. or 8:01, ask for Joni, Joni. She will help you.
Just tell Joni you were on the show. You were watching the show with Miss G and Mr. Davis, and Miss G and Mr. Davis can be contacted to confirm what we just told you.
Okay.
And she said, "Oh, thank you." And for the rest of you guys have my email address, and you can email me your information if you can't get a hold of me. This is my email address. My number is 626-631-8901. Again, I'm going to repeat, when you guys call me, if I don't answer the phone, that means I'm on a call. So please be patient. A lot of you guys are in the habit of emailing me, which is great, because I know when I'm calling you guys, I know what the storyline is, and I ask you, a little bit extra questions to get more information from you. It makes it a lot easier and faster to be able to help you and get started. Okay. Again, just letting you know, it's not like I just make calls. I also handle agreements. I also handle other tasks for Attorney Davis. Okay.
All right, Miss G, thank you for joining me, being a guest. Everyone, thank you for joining us on Office Hours. Have a good rest of the day, and we'll have Office Hours tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Time. Bye-bye.